Okay, we continue. Next one is Ahara Paṭṭhāna, or I call food or nutritive condition, mean the physical nourishment. So how it works, the material nutriment or the food condition the maintenance of the bodily rupa and can indirectly condition mental state. I mean the food can both in a way supplement to your physical body and also your mental state. So the Abhidhamma distinguish kind of food like this Kaika, Rajaki, so on, and their conditional state. So particular of food upon your physical body and your mind. So rupa as a condition by food, also mental consequence view bodily health. So ahara paṭṭhāya is a condition relationship where a nutriment acts as a decisive support for the arising and continuity of a particular state, be it physical or mental. So in the Buddha's teaching, this goes far beyond physical food. It describes the fundamental field that sustains all aspects of life and most critically the entire process of suffering, dukkha, and the cycle of rebirth, samsara. That's why in Abhidhamma, and as we know, our human can sustain enough food and water within 7 days. After that, the whole body will be broken down. How you think is that the cell inside will start eating out your muscle and whatever. And that's the end of your life. When your 7-day meditation, especially meditation, above 7 days, you have typically is a zombie. Similarly, Buddha, the Sutta, remember one guy that was hungry. So Buddha first thing he said, he must be fed with the food before he can heal. So that's why food is essential to our human existence. First one is talking about physical food nutriment. This is the most obvious nutriment, edible food, both coarse and fine, that sustain the physical body. So our human body, too bad, need food. Without food, that's a problem. We will die from hunger or really bad. Our whole body breaks down and then everything is end. So condition is the intake of physical food. That's why we're having this physical body is a hindrance to us. Okay, so we need food. You cannot say you cannot can survive without food. So what is sustain the physical body, or more precisely, the materiality of the body, rupa kaya. Without it, the body cannot grow, be maintained, or even exist. So this is the importance of our body. You have to take care of body, and also the body in a way also affect your mental state. So a modern example, a person stranded without food, the body weakens, consciousness fades, and eventually death occurs. The physical body, which is at the basis of all experience, is directly dependent on this nutriment. So no food, you just cannot survive. So the quality of the food matters. Okay, a diet of processed junk food sustain the body but leads to poor health. Good example, you visit America, it's all processed food. Okay, I've been there once. Just so unhealthy those American. One big hamburger, one big Coke. It's almost their food every day, almost like that. And then it will cause you lethargic. I mean, you feel very dorsal, tired, and so on, so on. And disease, a negative sustenance. I mean, eating this kind of junk food, you have plenty of problem in the passage of time. So a nutritious guide sustain a healthy, energetic body, a positive sustenance. So in both cases, the food is a condition for the state of body. Okay, so food is an important essential for human body. Next one is a pasara or contact nutriment. These are nutriment of sensory and mental contact. Contact means pasa is a coming together of a sense base, or what I call the ear, eye, so on, a sense organ, and the sense object, sight, sound, so on, and the corresponding consciousness, the eye consciousness, ear consciousness that arises. So the condition, the meeting of a sense-based object and consciousness. So what it sustain, feeling or sensation. So everything, every feeling, whether pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, depends on contact. And you cannot have a feeling without there first being in contact. So this explains the so-called pasahara. Okay, modern example, scrolling social media, your eye meets the post or object, and eye consciousness arise. This contact is a nutriment. So it immediately give rise to a feeling, perhaps jealousy or unpleasant, from seeing a friend's vacation photo or amusement present from a funny me. The constant stream of contact provided by the phone sustain a roller coaster feeling throughout the day. So because of your contact with this social media, it gives you a stream of thought. Then all this created this roller coaster feeling up and down throughout the whole day. Another one is a heated argument. Your ear hears a critical word and the ear consciousness arises. That contact nourishes the rising of an unpleasant feeling of anger. So especially when you accidentally heard a very bad remark on you, then you start having this unpleasant feeling arising, then you will have a bad day. So without the nutriment of that specific contact, the particular feeling of anger could not arise. That's why you're talking about ahara pacaya, about this contact of the sense base. Because if you never hear that, the anger will not arise. So this is talking about another conditioning or mental state beside the physical food. Mano Sanchetana-hara, mental volition nutriment. This is a nutriment of volition, intention, or will. It is the desire, the impulse, the coming impetus or for the condition existence, condition. The intention or craving for becoming. Bhava tanha, especially those craving for it to be in a heavenly world. What it sustains that process of becoming. Your objective is to be the other world. That is the entire cycle of renewed existence, life after life. So this is the most critical nutriment for keeping us bound to samsara. That's why if you are Sopattapana, you get a state, you can only have 7 lives. But for others who have non-attained Sotapanna, will life after life, because you crave for it. The life after life will, whether good or bad, will continue and as long as possible. So if you attain Sotapanna, only 7 lives to go. And modern example, ambitious career drive. A person deep-seated volition to become a CEO or a famous artist or a respected expert is a powerful nutriment. So the objective of this it become a nutriment. So it will sustain immense effort, planning, stress, action over years. So you want to get this objective, you have to plan and make a lot of effort. This very intention of what that feels the continuity of a particular identity, that means to become a CEO, as striving, propelling them into a future situation, becoming, becoming a CEO that align with that evolution. Okay, this is another example of kind of mental kind of condition that is sort of food that you feed on other thing that you finally attain the objective. Then the next one, the desire for relationship, the longing to be a relationship or becoming a parent. is a mental evolution. This craving act as a nutriment, condition your action. As I join those finding boyfriend, girlfriend, joining dating apps or socializing, and ultimately sustain a new state of existence to create a family life with all its attendant joy and sorrows. This is another why you get married, then suffering follow. Next one is called consciousness nutriment, Vijnana. This nutriment of consciousness itself is a fundamental awareness that cognizes an object. What is sustained? Name and form, nama rupa, which is the visual physical organism in the chain of dependent origination, the Paṭṭhāna Samuppada. Consciousness and name and form are mutually dependent, and consciousness need a physical body and mental factor to be manifest, and the body mental factor need consciousness to be a living being. So this is another example of ahara paccaya. So when you have this kind of how to handle all these 24 conditions, you need to explain and then give example. Will be sufficient for you. Another example, a coma patient, the physical body is sustained by feeding tube. And those people who are in a coma state, many tubes are feeding to sustain the body. This is called physical body nutriment. However, without the nutriment of full sensory and mental consciousness, the person we know them is not present because physically he's alive, but on his mental state and the sensing is no more there. So the mutual dependence is broken. So when consciousness returns, the name and form is reanimated as a functioning being. Only when all this exists, then we say it's a living human being. When just the body is only a partial only. Similarly, for rebirth analogy, and the moment conception, according to Theravada, is a descendant of a stream of karmic consciousness, the Vijnana, that condition the rising of a new embryo. I mean, on a baby coming into this specific womb, the consciousness is a nutriment that sustains the beginning of a new life. This is only for Theravada explanation. Mahayana is another way. So Mahayana still have to go to the 49 days. For Theravada is a straight moment. But death, straight away to the womb. So 16 factor, Indriya Paccaya, faculty, controlling factor condition, function, faculty or Indriya, such as eye faculty, mind faculty, the power of faculty, condition that can arise to that faculty, right? You studied it before. So the rupa or the sense organ as paccaya for their corresponding consciousness. So you need this, the organ for the subsequent corresponding consciousness. Example, a damaged eye faculty will not condition the same consciousness as a healthy eye. Okay, let's say if this eye like gompa or whatever condition of eye problem, you cannot see properly as compared to a normal eye. Okay. So sensory controlling faculty such as sense faculty. So your sense organ is present, you still need your this thing to be a working function. If not working, it's not considered as a full working sense. Indriya Paccaya is a condition where one factor, the faculty, the exercise a dominant, controlling, or governing influence over other factors that are dependent on it. Okay. So the key area is mastery or leadership. The faculty doesn't just exist with other state. It takes a charge of a specific function and other state fall under its domain. Okay. So this is talking about this faculty, how it works. So we give example. Example one, you are in the situation you are stressed and skeptical about meditation, okay? So those who are first time, you want to go for meditation, you're under stress and also have doubts about this meditation. So a friend convince you it's benefit for mental health, especially those who got problem, then they find meditation as a alternative therapy for them. So Indra Pachaya in action, the spark of confidence, the sada, or what you call the faith that this might work, this is how you are lead into meditation, becomes the dominant factor. Okay? So because you want to be cure your this problem, stress problem, so that's why you join this meditation as a hope for change. It overrides your initial doubt and motivates you to download a meditation app and try a 10-minute session. So you have to try a 10-minute session whether it works or not. So here the sada is a faculty that condition the initial volitional energy, or called vidya, and the mindful attention sati you apply. So without that governing confidence, the other factor will not arise. So first thing, you must have this faith on it. So whether it works later or not, it doesn't matter, okay? Because important is the faith, the sada of that is your initial volitional energy to carry on with your meditation. So this is an example of meditation practice on very first time. Another example, a moment profound insight. You are mindful of a rising feeling of anger. You can feel the anger is coming upon you. Instead of getting swept away by it, you observe its arising, its fleeting nature, and how it just conditioned phenomena. And is this not my anger? Okay? I mean, you see the anger arising in you, and then you start feeling, understand it, the nature of how it become growing, and whether it become big or be extinguished, it's up to you. So this is called a conditioned phenomena. So if you able to withstand it, then the anger will not arise. I mean, this anger don't belong to me. Yeah, is it don't belong to me, then you have no anger. Okay? So that's why anger is you yourself, how you react with the thing. Your mind react over the thing, whether you accept it or you reject it. Or you reject it, it will not harm you. You accept it, it becomes condition that make you more frustrated. So this Indra Pachaya is in action. The direct understanding is wisdom. Okay? The thing that can overcome it is wisdom in action. At that moment, the Pana is a dominant controlling faculty. So it masters the illusion of a permanent and self. So it uses mindfulness, sati, to provide the data and the concentration, samadhi, to stay steady with the uncomfortable feeling, and energy, viriya, to investigate. So this wisdom condition a profound shift in perception, leading to the fading away of anger. That means to say, this anger is yourself. You take it or you reject it. You take it and you process it, then that's your way. You get more and more angry. If you say the angry, you just you the remark the angry never come to upon you. You just reject the idea. Nothing will change you. So this condition is about yourself. So this is called Indriya Pachaya. Okay, next one, the Jhana Pachaya, or Jhana ecstasy condition. How it works? The mental state of jhana, absorption, when you, especially samadhi, meditation, act as condition in special way. Example, they create a state in which certain kinds of results follow, like strong tranquility or altered attention. So what's the paramata? It's specialized cluster of chitta, chittasika in jhanic state. So you come to first jhana or second jhana, then you have this kind of chitta or chittasika happening at this particular state of jhana. So meditative absorption state as a condition factor. So you must come to the jhana state. Then you have all these conditional factors. Jhana Paccaya describe the relationship where the powerful, purified, and stable mind of jhana condition subsequent mental state, making them clearer, more powerful, more conducive to liberation than they would be otherwise. So it's only when you reach the jhana state, you having this jhana paccaya, that you understand whether this one is of more kind of powerful kind compared to your normal daily kind of meditation without any jhana state. So the core idea is that jhana is not the end itself, but a powerful tool. Jhana is only a powerful tool. It creates an optimal launching pad. I mean, to go further up for other crucial spiritual endeavors, primary insight, vipassana. I mean to say, that's why we go for meditation. Our meditation master always asks us to attain jhana first before even to embark on this vipassana. Because if you to jhana, there is an easy path for you to go to insight meditation. Example, the superpower microscope is an analogy for jhana as support for vipassana. Example, the untrained mind, or what called normal consciousness. Imagine trying to study a living cell with naked eye. If you're looking at the studying of this naked cell, how it look like in the naked eye, it's impossible, right? So the cell is too stubborn, very too fine, and your instrument, your eye, is too weak and easily distract. So it's like trying to see the rapid stubborn arising and passing of a mental phenomena, the sankhara, with a normal scattered mind. You might get a vague intellectual idea, but not direct penetrating insight. I mean, you are not able to see a true what is the inside of this particular cell. Okay, that's why this untrained mind is like a without using a microscope, you're using your eye, you have a kind of blurrish understanding. So jhana is as a microscope. Attaining jhana is like acquiring a powerful high-resolution electron microscope. And when you see cell, you need a microscope. The microscope itself doesn't analyze the cell. Okay, it doesn't tell you about its impermanent. Okay, this tool its function is to stabilize the view. I mean, you can have a clearer understanding view. It holds the cell perfectly still and magnify it many times, revealing the details you never could have seen before. With your naked eye, you can never see. So you need an instrument like microscope to have a clear understanding of what is inside the cell. Okay, that's why it's talking about jhana in different kind of mode. When you are normal one, it's like without using a microscope. A jhana one is examining with a full view of the microscope. So in essence, now you place a cell, the mind-body phenomenon under the microscope. That means the jhana state. You then use your faculty of wisdom, your understanding to investigate, because the view is so stable and clear. The mind is not jumping to greed, aversion, distraction. You can directly and effortlessly see the constant flickering, the impermanent and the stressful nature of this constant change, suffering, and the fact that no cell controlling of cell is orchestra, non-self. The jhana, that means you are looking at a cell, you study a cell, you see that this cell, in a way, is not permanent. It will die down and another new one will come out. The jhana, the microscope, is the condition that make this profound insight possible. It's a paccaya for the insight. Okay? That's why it's called jhana paccaya. A second example, meditating scenario. Stage 1, you meditate, you achieve excess concentration. For those who are in this field, practice this quite a while, you should have upachara samadhi, or what I call excess concentration. Okay? At this state, the meditator focus on the breath, gradually the mind settle. and very focusing on the in-out breath, and then the mind is very stubborn. I mean, very, in a way, not disturbant. So the breath becomes stubborn and the body feels light, and distraction are minimum. So at this state, when your breath is so peaceful, you will not distracted by any external thing. This access concentration, the doorstep to jhana. This is a very doorstep when you go to the state of jhana. Okay, that's how you explain upachara samadhi. For those who are practicing meditation, you will know this term very well. Second state, entering the first jhana. The meditator shift attention to a pleasant, luminous sign, the nimitta. You all should know also meditation. You see nimitta that arises from the concentrated mind. The mind plunges into the first jhana, okay? Characterized by the five factors: applied thought, sustained thought, rapture, happiness, and one-pointedness. So the meditator rests in this state with like a powerful, blissful, and laser-focused mind. Okay, this is how from very first one state you go to second state, you enter the first jhana. Then state 3, emerging, applying the jhana paccaya for insight. After some time, the matter intentionally emerges from jhana. The mind is now incredibly clear, brightened, and stable, and like a perfectly still lake. This is a critical moment. So I mean, you reach to a level that the higher jhana you can reach. The matter now direct his purified, powerful awareness because of jhana toward investigating the experience. They notice that the physical formation, the rupa, now you observe your body. The stubborn vibration in the body, example, your stomach in, out, and in, out. They see that this sensation constantly changing, appearing and disappearing. So the jhana condition the mind see this impermanent with a crystal clear clarity. That's why you need jhana for you to oppose the vipassana and see the rupa on this kind of state. They notice that the mental formation, nama, they observe the fading way of jhanic factor themselves. No more of the mental state here. The rapture, happiness, and the piti and the happiness sukha were so strong they are now seen as conditioned. So this piti and sukha is called a condition. Impermanent phenomena that arises and pass. They observe that thought arising without getting caught in them. So when you move from the state of jhana to vipassana, you see the state of moving away from those that you practiced earlier and you drop them off. The jhana that has just experienced is a condition. Okay? The subsequent deep insight into impermanent and non-self is the conditioned state. Okay? So that's how I explained the jhana paccaya. Okay? From the samadhi to the vipassana. So the jhana provide the mental stability and clarity and energy that make the insight. You need a jhana in order for you to go inside. So direct and powerful. So without jhana as a base, the meditator observation might have been intellectual and superficial. That's why my guru, I used to train him. He said, "Yeah, no way you can straight away go to vipassana bypassing the jhana state. With it, the insight is exponential and transformative. Okay, so you go to the next level, it's exponential and transformative against the earlier jhana practice. Okay, next one, the Magga Paccaya, path condition. The factor on the Buddhist path, conditional spiritual attainment. Magga, the word means path. Specifically, the Noble Eightfold Path is not a physical road, but a systematic, practical guide to the cessation of suffering. It's a Fourth Noble Truth, the prescription for the disease of exponential unsatisfactoriness. So Buddha explained about this, how to end suffering. So basically, you follow Eightfold Path, you will end suffering. Paṭṭhāna, this is an instrument of singular form of paṭṭhāna, which means cause, condition, reason, and also all the support. So in the context of dependent origination, paticca samuppada is often translated as a because of or conditioned by. Therefore, magga pattaya literally translates as because of the path, or more fully with the path as condition. Okay, so we are talking now is a path condition. So this phase is the 11 link in a 12-fold chain of dependent origination. The full link is Bhava Pattaya Jati, Jati Pattaya Jaya Maranam. With becoming as a condition, birth. With birth as condition, aging and death. This is coming towards the end one. Remember this? Then Sukha, Parideva, Dukkha, Domanasa, Upayasa, Sambevanti. Evam tasa kevala lasa dukkha kandyasa samudayo hoti. Sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair come into being. This is the originating of this whole mass of suffering. So this one, the last one is towards the death. Death will bring you all these things, okay? This is the dependent origination. So, but with the remainderless fading away and cessation of ignorance becomes cessation of volitional formation, and the cessation of volition formation, cessation of consciousness, thus for cessation of whole mass of suffering. So basically describe how this 12 link is talking about the whole suffering from life after life. The crucial point is that the chain of suffering is broken by chain of cessation. Okay? How you end it is by magga paccaya. As an implied positive counterpart of negative chain. It signifies the entire mass of suffering ceases because of the path. So you are looking towards the dependent origination, the reverse way. Okay? How you will end? By breaking the chain of ignorance. So what is the paccaya magga paccaya? Is not just a link in the chain, it's an active principle of liberation. Now we are talking about the path is the liberation. It states that Noble Eightfold Path is a direct, sufficient, and necessary condition for the unraveling of the entire conscious process that leads to suffering. Okay, think of the first 11 link of dependent origination, from ignoring to becoming. So it's a complex, self-perpetuating machine that produces suffering. So magga paccaya is a master switch that dismantling the tooth for that machine. So remember, think of magga paccaya as a switch to end this thing. So the path work by system reversing the link. Okay, so this magga paccaya is actually a switch by reversing the link. Ignorance is uprooted by right view. Okay, this is a way to end. Volition, formation, sankhara are claimed by the right intention and ethical conduct. And craving and clinging are abandoned through the entire path, but especially to right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These are using all the Eightfold Path. So magga paccaya means by applying the Eightfold Path, one creates a conditioning for cessation of ignorance, which in turn causes a cessation of all subsequent link, culminating to the end of suffering. So that's why Buddha used the Eightfold Path to end this dependent origination. We are stuck in the factor of ignorance, and the whole cycle repeat over and over with no end. So modern example. Okay, we think of a modern example. You think of a young professional, Alex. The ignorant, Avicha. Alex operates under the delusion that lasting happiness and security can be found in their job with a tidy secretary and social media image. They believe that I am the success, I am the failure. Okay, the ignorance of I. So craving, tanha. This ignorance give rise to intense craving for promotion. So when the modern worker, you seek for promotion, salary never go up. a variation from others, and a luxurious lifestyle. I mean, you have a high pay and then you have a kind of luxury life. I mean, craving for sensual pleasure. It creates craving to avoid criticism. So when you are somebody on top, you stop all this, avoid criticism, failure, and being seen as an ordinary, and craving for non-becoming. Right? You don't want back to be a normal person. You want to be somebody. And then clinking comes. Alex Drake clings to job identity. Right? He's a CEO or somebody in the top management. They are attached to their opinion and easily offended. So when these people in high position, they have plenty of opinion. And when you get criticized, you get offended. And their sense of self is tightly wrapped in their career. So their career is wrapped down there, the whole self. And then what is becoming bhava? This process of clinking actively creates sustained Alex identity as a striver and anxious professional. So from ignorant, I'm become bhava, I'm becoming this explains the modern day of a young professional. Then we talk about birth and jati. From the state of becoming, moments of suffering are continuing born. So a critical email, so one fine day a critical email from the boss isn't just feedback. It's a personal catastrophe that gives birth to a wave of anxiety. So one fine day you receive a email from the boss. So aging and death, Jamala. So each wave of anxiety arises, peak and fades away, only to replace by the next one, a cycle of mental birth and death. So this is a mass of suffering, chronic stress, insomnia, and a feeling of emptiness. Right? Example, you got a mail that is retrenched or terminated. You got the company have excessive manpower. Then when it hit to this state, it will be considered aging and death. Okay? So the same thing repeat again. If we find another job and aim for the same thing, the whole cycle repeat itself. Okay? So this one explain the Magga from ignorant to aging and death. This is a modern example. The solution, the Magga Paṭṭhāna applying the path. So Alex start the therapy or mindfulness practice. His unknowing begins to align with a noble eightfold path. This is called the Magga Paṭṭhāna. Right view. Alex learned that about cognitive distortion and nature of anxious mind. They started to see their stress becoming not from the email themselves, but from the interpretation of them. The I, meaning attack, is the beginning of understanding anicca and anatta. Okay? So when you come to practice this kind of meditation or study Buddhist, you have this understanding of right view, then you understand of this anicca and anatta. So your job will not be yours permanently. So paccaya, condition effect. The wisdom becomes the condition for changing everything else. It's like getting the correct map after being lost. Okay? So this is talking about right view. Right intention, the chain of heart. Motivated by the right view, Alex consciously sets the intention to let go of need for constant validating and cultivate a compassion for themselves and their colleagues instead of competitiveness. I mean, in this business world, you always have to be number one above others. So with this as a motive, you have to always stay constantly at number one. So paccaya, the intention of directly oppose the link of craving is a decision to stop the feeding the fire. So you come to the next state, a right intention that he has to get rid of the craving. And then third one, right speech, action, and livelihood, ethical foundation. So Alex stopped gossiping about co-workers. Right speech, they act with integrity, not cutting corners to get the right ahead, right action, and they consider if their job aligns with their values, right livelihood. So this paccaya, ethical living, reduces the karmic field for volitional formation sankara and creates internal peace with weakened clinking and a clear conscience of this powerful antidote to anxiety. So I mean, stop imagining things from his daily kind of working condition. Because if you have top in the society, you have full anxiety, you cannot be suffering from coming down. Then the right effort, the mental workout, when a jealous thought or spike of anxiety arises, Alex notices and gently let it go without following the story. They actually cultivate the feeling of goodwill and contentment. So all this gossip or whatever thing that comes into his mind, if he able to take it, then without attaching to it, this feeling of goodwill and contentment will arise. If not, it becomes worse. Paṭṭhāna-naya. This is a direct application for force against the chain. Right effort prevents unwholesome state, like those born from craving, from arising, and abandon those that have a reason. So that is why doing the right thing, not to succumb by all these bad things that overcome you. Right mindfulness and right concentration. Alex practices daily meditation, right concentration, and uses mindfulness throughout the day. Right mindfulness, when the critical email arises, they feel the physical tension but observe with detachment. You always you say email, then this is tension rather than I'm stressed. Okay, especially though in high portfolio when they receive a kind of nasty email, then they'll stress out. So Paṭṭhāna, this ultimate dismantling tool of mindfulness create a gap between a stimulus, that means the email, and habitual reaction, catastrophic thinking. In that gap, the ignorant achiva cannot operate by not identifying the feeling. The process of clinking upadana and becoming bhava is interrupted. The birth of a full-blown anxiety attack is prevented. So when meal come in, don't have the kind of habitual habit of the worst to be expected. Okay? Worst to be expected, you always under stress at all time. So the result of Magat Pacha, because of the Magat Pacha, the entire cycle is broken. The critical email may come, but it no longer condition the same chain of suffering. It's make a clarity, balance, and an appropriate response rather than a reactive panic. The mass of suffering, the chronic stress and anxiety begins to dissolve. That's why you have faced ability, especially work in this high profile job. One fine day you may be out of job. So when we see the email, how you react it and why me? These are all these problems that cause anxiety.